Bill White's Midday Rant is a short, sharp take on what's happening and how it relates to you. Agree or disagree? Listen to middayrant.com today.
A couple of segments ago, I promised to comment on the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine is terrible. War is never good, and the deaths of civilians, if there are any in the Ukraine at this stage, are regrettable. But the Russian invasion of Ukraine was something that the West could have and should have prevented. That said, today I do not believe that it's our fight. I am against any involvement in the war. I do not believe we should be supplying weapons. In my opinion, it's splitting hairs to supply weapons and claim that NATO is not involved in the war. And I also disagree with these ever-increasing sanctions, which will cause more economic damage for the West than they will for Russia. Despite what the corporate media is telling you, war in Ukraine is not genocide. According to widely held beliefs, genocide is the intentional destruction of a people, usually defined as an ethnic, national, racial, or religious group, in whole or in part. With that said, based on that definition, every war is genocide, even those perpetrated by the West. But Putin didn't invade Ukraine because they're Ukrainian. He didn't attack the country because of their race, the religion of its people, or anything like it. Vladimir Putin launched this war because the West has for 30 years continued to encroach past previously defined lines which our leaders had agreed not to overstep. The continued expansion of NATO towards Russia is not the fault of Russia. For its part, Ukraine has courted the West and encouraged the atmosphere that it would join NATO, or at least that it would like to join NATO, which is a red line for Russia. According to their own statements, since the late 1990s, relations between NATO and Ukraine have developed into one of the most substantial of NATO's partnerships. If you're looking for someone to blame for the war in Ukraine, look west, not east. Russia is naturally protecting its sovereignty, much like the United States did in the 60s when Russia parked itself 90 miles off the coast of America. If Putin's war is genocide, then our wars are genocide.